today, New York City's in court to allow non-citizens to vote. That's another appeal by the Eric Adams administration. Is that part of the MAGA agenda? Is that part of the America First agenda? Is this the Eric Adams that Eric Trump supports, that Donald Trump supports? So what I'm hearing is, well, we don't like illegal immigrants, but we like them a little bit more than we like fired cops and firefighters who stood in integrity, who were illegally denied religious exemptions, who held on to their faith, who were overwhelmingly Trump supporters, like you said. And we don't care about them that much, but it's okay if non-citizens vote in New York City, right? Because that's ultimately what we're going for. John Catsimatidis seems to not have a problem with it either, because he was out to dinner with, guess who last night, right? Eric Adams, right? When the news broke. And I don't think that was a coincidence either, my friend.
You're right. And just to cover what you were just saying, this was a post I put up on X the morning after this disaster that Trump created. I put, Mayor Eric Adams declined to veto the bill allowing illegal immigrants to vote in local New York City elections, but is fighting for this to become a law to this day. At Real Donald Trump orders his DOJ to drop the very serious federal charges of Eric Adams in Trump's latest, quote, 4D chess move, end quote. Adams, a real victim of judicial malpractice, according to at Eric Trump, because Adams was, quote, nice, end quote, to his family, while he destroyed the lives of many New Yorkers and city municipal workers who supported and voted for his father, terminating them, leaving many still jobless and even homeless. Is MAGA now condoning illegal immigrants voting in the America First agenda? And right here, this is an article that was written, and it says right here, 800,000 non-citizens could soon be voting in New York City elections. An appellate court struck down Democrats' efforts to allow non-citizen voters last year. And in an excerpt in that story, New York City's non-citizen voting law has been subjected to multiple rounds of litigation since Mayor Eric Adams declined to veto the bill and allow the legislation to become law. Several New York courts have struck down the legislation, saying that the non-citizen voting law violates the New York State Constitution. And then while we're at it, there it is. Eric Trump said Adams treated the Trump family company well. Eric Trump, in a radio interview last week, said Mayor Eric Adams had always been supportive of everything the Trump organization did. Just so people know, me and John are not lying to you. There's the evidence. John, you have anything else for this 800,000? I mean, so the mayor of New York City, who's supposed to be now the MAGA mayor, the blue MAGA mayor, he wants to have illegal immigrants, the very ones that are being deported, apparently, allegedly, by the Trump administration. Eric helping to facilitate that. That's laughable. And now he wants them to vote in local elections. Am I reading that right? Is that correct?
Yeah, and it amazes me that anyone's shocked by this, because you could just go back to his debates with Curtis Sliwa when he was running for mayor, or you could go back to the Democratic primary debates while he was running for mayor, even prior to him debating Sliwa. And he said clear as day that he wants non-citizens to vote in elections. And then he's fought for it for 3 years. He's continuing to appeal that. He could tell Corporation Counsel tomorrow to drop that appeal and let that go through, because obviously it's not only does it violate the New York State Constitution, it violates the United States Constitution, because only citizens are allowed to vote. So, I mean, this is clear as day. This is the rule of law, not something that Eric Adams would know, because he never really enforced the law. He winded up breaking it more than he's ever enforced it or even created. Terrible lawmaker, terrible politician, even worse cop. And I think he's an even worse mayor than all of those. But yeah, when you go back to those debates, you hear him clear as day. He cheers on non-citizens being allowed to vote. He cheers on, he wants to give illegal immigrants free health care. He wants to not allow the ICE to never partner with the police department. That means a rapist, a murderer, a gang member, a drug dealer. No, never. So Eric Adams told everybody who he was for the last decade. A lot of people choose to have selective hearing and only want to hear one little clip when he was talking about Governor Abbott, when he called Abbott a racist for busing all the people from Texas to New York, when he said, if you don't want them, I'll take them. So Abbott said, okay. And then he called Abbott a racist. And then he wanted more crumbs from Joe Biden. And he said, this is going to crush New York City. This is going to destroy New York City. And people take that one soundbite where he was criticizing Governor Abbott and they make it that is the reason he was indicted, while not paying any attention to the blatant corruption that is ensnared his entire administration, wherever, the schools, the NYPD, the FDNY, you name the agency, DOB, there's corruption. DCAS, doesn't matter. Corrections, name an agency, there's corruption. The
Sheriff.
city, state, federal, New York City sheriff, name it. And it's not common things. It's blatant, disgusting corruption.
Yeah, and just for good measures, here is a post by yourself. You said Eric's the Trump of Fort Lee, New Jersey. He's Donald's favorite mayor. And it's a post from Eric Adams. And on October 7th of all days, 2020, he wrote, "The Trump family knows what's waiting for them on the other side of this election when they lose." What can I say? With John saying, look at the man, how he has these vile things to say about this family, and now they're saying the opposite. I almost feel like we're in the WWE. I think we're in the World Wrestling Entertainment. Like, we have heels and faces, but you kind of blur the lines when it comes to this stuff. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
I think a lot of people, when it comes to politics, they're mushrooms, and I think that's what we have to face about most people when it comes to politics. They're in the dark. They don't know anything. They get fed shit, and they keep them in the dark, and that's what it is. And I think that politicians believe that about voters, because, I mean, could you blame them at this point? We don't remember who Eric Adams is for the last 10 years. Never mind the last 3 years. He flips on a dime the minute that Trump gets elected and gets put into office, and now we're going to sit here and pretend that this guy's a moderate and he's common sense and he's pro public safety. When he was talking about, he endorsed Kamala. He's been talking for 3 years how the Democrats have a great public safety product. I mean, who believes that? Nobody believed that. Not even the Democrats believed that. Only Eric Adams believed it. Actually, he probably didn't believe it either, but the guy lies so much, he doesn't know when he's lying or when he's telling the truth. And so now they just say whatever they want. Eric Adams is a moderate, common sense. Eric Adams more than likely is going to be a Republican, in my opinion. I think the New York Republican GOP is going to embrace him with open arms, and I think that's what that meeting was about last night with Katz-Matidis. And I think that was he's going to run as, because I think he's actually going to get destroyed as a Democrat.
That would be pretty sad, because I don't think he can win as a Republican either. You just watched the latest clip from the Sal Greco show. If you want to watch the full episode, click the link below. And while you're at it, please hit the like, share, subscribe button. And don't forget to click the notification button also.